News 46 Week in Review is brought to you by Southwest Medical Associates. Look for news about their latest healthcare center opening soon in your neighborhood. Southwest Medical Associates. Now that's powerful medicine. News 46 is also brought to you by Red Apple Fireworks. You've never seen anything like it. Nevada's elite fireworks shopping experience. Red Apple Fireworks. You're watching KPVM News 46 Week in Review. Pahrumph's #1 media source for local news with Deanna O'Donnell. News 46, local coverage you can count on.
Welcome to News 46's Week in Review, your #1 source for local news. I'm Deanna O'Donnell. The driver of a street bike luckily escapes injury last Friday evening at the intersection of Highway 160 and 372. We are here on Highway 160 and 372 where a single vehicle, actually a motorcycle, caught fire. Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue arrived on scene along with Nye County Sheriff's deputies and Nevada Highway Patrol. Luckily, the rider of this motorcycle was able to get off, and he was wearing a helmet at the time, but he got off the bike. We're not sure of exactly why the bike actually caught fire, but we do know that it was completely destroyed. Both lanes were blocked in the northbound direction of the highway while crews extinguished the blaze. This is Deanna O'Donnell on Highway 160 and 372 for News 46. Two people were injured at an accident last Wednesday night at the intersection of Highway 372 and Blagg, which has many asking once again about a traffic signal at this location. Last night, all lanes were blocked in both directions here at Highway 372 and Blagg for a two-vehicle accident, which involved a sedan and a sheriff's vehicle. We're going to speak to Nye County Sheriff Tony DeMeo.
That's correct. Right now, the Highway Patrol is going to be investigating the accident. It occurred on their highway in 372, and it was involving a Nye County Sheriff's Office vehicle. From what we understand at this time, is that the vehicle one, which was driven by, we're not going to mention the names right now because we haven't made notification to the family, was coming out southbound across Blagg with the stop sign and proceeded into 372, at which time it struck the Nye County Sheriff's Office vehicle, which caused the vehicle to swerve to the left and hit a pole.
And so I know that we had one person airlifted via Mercy, and that's the person in the maroon sedan, and the officer was taken locally here.
That's correct. The driver of the vehicle is right now at UMC. We got flighted out to UMC for injuries, and the deputy is was transported to Desert View. If there's any kind of transfer, they would transfer him there. But right now, we just think that the injuries can be taken care of at the local hospital.
And was the deputy in transport to a call or anything?
He was on route to a low priority call. So he was just coming down the highway, and that's when the incident occurred. And so right now we're just hoping that the drive vehicle one is going to be okay. We believe our deputy's going to be okay. Like I said, we're going to be heading to the hospital right now just to make sure that if we have an idea what his injuries are, the extent of his injuries.
So there was no lights and sirens on the vehicle, the deputy's vehicle as well. So he was going at a regular rate of speed, right?
He's just trying down the highway. He's westbound on the highway, going to a call for service, low priority call. He was not responding in either code 2 or code 3. He just basically responded to a call for service to check out a residence. That was about it.
And there was only one occupant in both vehicles?
That's correct. Only one occupant.
And so do we know the name of the deputy? Are we releasing that at this time?
We're not releasing the name of the deputy, and we're not releasing the name of driver one right this time.
And I know that Nevada Highway Patrol is investigating this accident. We have all lanes blocked in both directions.
That's going to be for a while because they're sending out their team from Vegas. They're doing that because of the extent and injuries of possibly a driver vehicle one. The injuries we believe are serious, so they're just doing their investigation. So they called out their their accident investigation team.
And if you notice any of those witness shots in there, you'll recognize our very own Rick Vale there. He happened to be behind the officer's vehicle when this accident occurred. He was one of the only witnesses on the scene. He had to fill out a witness statement. And it is common practice for Nevada Highway Patrol to conduct the investigation in this accident, whether or not it happened on the highway, because this is an officer-involved accident. We did learn the name of the officer that was involved in this, and that is Assistant Sheriff Rick Marshall's son. We're told that he has suffered an injury to his ankle. We're told it's not broken at this point, but he was transported to Desert View Hospital. The other gentleman inside the vehicle was medically and mechanically entrapped in the car. Brunt Valley Fire and Rescue arrived on scene and did a door pop on him. He was transported to UMC Trauma Center via Mercier. And of course, all lanes were blocked while Nevada Highway Patrol completed their investigation. This is Deanne O'Donnell for News 46. According to Nevada Highway Patrol, the elderly man was transported via Mercy Air to UMC Trauma Center, and he was also transported to the intensive care unit. He is currently awake and speaking. Deputy Marshall was treated and released from Desert View Hospital. Since the passing of Senate Bill 140, many have been asking about the enforcement of this new law, which requires drivers to use a hands-free device while using their cell phones and driving. Senate Bill 140, which was passed this year during the 2011 legislative session and signed by Governor Brian Sandoval on June 17th, goes into effect on October 1st of this year. This new law prohibits the use of a cellular phone or other handheld wireless communication device while operating a motor vehicle in certain circumstances. The Nevada Highway Patrol issued a press release saying that this is a primary law, which means that officers do not need to observe a separate violation before initiating a traffic enforcement stop. To help educate the motoring public and to create as much awareness about this important law, traffic enforcement officers who observe this violation may initiate a traffic stop. However, no citation for using this handheld device may be issued until January 1st of 2012. We also spoke to Nevada Department of Transportation, Michelle Booth.
Well, Senate Bill 140, it's a new cell phone law, which a lot of states do have already, and so we implemented it, and it goes into effect October 1st, and you actually can't get a ticket until January 1st, and it's a law where they don't have to catch you doing anything else. It's already the infraction as it is. There are certain laws where if they catch you doing something, for example, if you have an expired license, they wouldn't know otherwise, but they have to stop you at that first. So you have to use hands-free devices, which means you could have a Bluetooth, headphones, those things that you put on your car where you get with a speaker on your car, but you can't have the cell phone in your hand. Yeah, it's part of our strategic highway safety plan as well. It all has to do with distracted driving. We're trying to enforce safe driving, and that's one of the many ways. We put that in a category with drunk driving, all kinds of different problems that people do. Cell phones can be a distraction and they cause accidents, unfortunately. So that's something we're trying to prevent.
Nevada Highway Patrol also adds that drivers who minimize their distractions and focus on their driving at all times will greatly reduce the chance of an unplanned event. To put this into numerical perspective, there are more than 3,500 distracted-related crashes in Nevada every year and more than 60 deaths in the past 5 years. Additionally, there is no way to calculate how many close calls have been caused by distracted driving. Across the nation in 2009, 5,474 people died on U.S. roadways, while another 448,000 were injured in motor vehicle-related crashes reported to have distracted driving involved. Although Senate Bill 140 doesn't go into effect until October, motorists who currently communicate without a hands-free device should plan on adjusting their habits now in an effort to comply with the new law in October. Nevada Highway Patrol also wanted to remind people that seatbelts save lives and buckle up. I'm Deanne O'Donnell for News 46. The kickoff party to recall Nye County Tax Assessor Shirley Madsen was held at Romero's Mexican restaurant last Saturday afternoon. Here at Romero's on Saturday was the kickoff party for the recall effort against Nye County Tax Assessor Shirley Madsen.
It is going awesome list. I mean, it's best. I don't even have words for it. I'm really shocked. The support has been awesome. We've been here since 1:15 and we had a full page filled up within 5 minutes. So it's going really well, and it's nonstop cars coming in and people coming in. So I'm excited.
We're going to be here for a few hours for this kickoff party, but are we organizing or are we just getting signatures today?
We're just getting signatures today. We have a lot of our volunteers already, but people are signing up, continuously to signing up so we could get more people to help us out. But it's signatures based on today only.
Why do we pick Romero's?
Because it's George and we love Romero's. And he's Hispanic, so...
And that's what the comments were basically aimed towards, weren't they? The ones that are alleged on Shirley Matson's emails.
Yeah, I mean, her comments were based on everybody that was, in my opinion, brown color skinned people. So, and they're filthy and dirty, but we're at an establishment that is a very good establishment in our community that has a lot of business and a lot of people, and there's a lot of colors people and a diversity of people inside eating now. So I think this is the best spot to have it.
And actually a leader in our community as well. George Romero has been kind of an icon here.
Yeah, George, I mean, he's an honest man. He's educated. He's successful. So, I mean, like I said, why not have it here? He's a role model for a lot of people in this town.
And I know we got Dennis Keating over there playing some music, kind of a mixture.
Yep. I mean, we live in the United States of America. We're all different, so he's playing all kinds of different music, and we're all excited and having fun with it, so we're good.
How many signatures do you think we have right now?
I'm going to say well over 100, 150. And like I said, we just started. I don't know what time it is. It's 2:36, but it's doing well.
So we need a total of how many?
3,613.
And then have you heard anything else from the Matson group or Nancy Lord?
Nothing, not a word.
And so how many volunteers do you have right now?
Well over 65 volunteers.
And are you looking for more?
We could always use the help. It's less work for all of us to do. We can get people go door to door, spread the word, anything that could help.
What have you been hearing on Positive Prompt?
Positive Prompt actually is pretty quiet about it. There's a bunch of likes. It's a mixture of things. Some people think this is ridiculous. Others think it's awesome. It just depends. I mean, I'm reading more about it on Valley Times and the comments in there. But it seems to be, like I said, that's a good support and people are actually agreeing with what we're doing. And like I said, there's a crowd here at all times and we just started.
So speaking of the Times, the LA Times is here as well.
That is correct. Ashley Powers, she's based out of Las Vegas. She contacted me last week and asked to come out and has done interviews for the last half hour.
Wonderful. And so how can people contact you?
Through Facebook on Positive Prompt in the search bar, or they can call me at 775-727-8229.
This is Deanna O'Donnell at Romero's for News 46. District Attorney Kurt Vito updates us on the preliminary hearing with the 5 suspects in the murder and attempted murder case, which occurred on May 1st on Donner Street. Here at the Nye County Courthouse, the preliminary hearing for the May 1st murder and attempted murder has been held this past week. We're going to speak to District Attorney Kurt Vito.
Well, actually, we had our second day of preliminary hearing was on the 8th, July 8th. Our first day of preliminary hearing was June 3rd for an incident that, if I'm not mistaken, occurred on May 1st. And so we anticipate picking up tomorrow, which is the 15th. Tomorrow we pick up with the preliminary hearing, which will be the third day. And then if we have to, we have a fourth day set aside, which will be Monday the 18th for the preliminary hearing.
And this is for the murder and attempted murder that happened on Donner Street on May 1st. And I know that we have a witness, Antoinette Bell, and we have another victim, Michael Frazier, who unfortunately passed away from this. We have 5 suspects?
Yes, I think we currently have 5 people charged with these crimes. Yes, Troy Jackson, Michael Maxwell, Vicky Garcia, Tiffany Rubio, and Charles Eubanks.
And so give us a little update of not all of the suspects were in court recently, right?
Yes, Charles Eubanks was not at the last preliminary hearing, having unconditionally waived his preliminary hearing to go to the district court level at the June 3rd date.
And the other 3 that the charges may be changing on them, excluding Troy Jackson.
Well, over the course of the time since we got the offense, I believe we've amended the complaint 3 times. We're currently on our 4th amended complaint. So the charges have shifted and changed a bit, yes.
And Troy Jackson is our main suspect, right?
Well, according to some of the testimony that we've heard, yes, you could consider Troy Jackson, I guess, the principal perpetrator.
And as far as witnesses, who else do we have? I know we have Antoinette Bell, who's a victim in this case. And by the way, how is she doing?
As far as I know, I haven't had any communication with Antoinette since the last preliminary hearing. As far as I know, she's doing well. She's on the mend physically from the attack. Physically, I anticipate that her body is healing, but I haven't really talked to her about that. I'm not a physician, obviously, and I don't know what any doctors are telling her about her physical condition.
How's she doing with the testimony?
Well, the best way I could characterize that is to say that if anybody wants to see how Antoinette's doing with her testimony, to come down. She's struggling through her testimony. I know that her breathing is obviously labored and affected by some of the injury that she's incurred. But how she's doing in her testimony is really something that I would not want to comment on.
The new Nye County Detention Facility is well underway. The steel-reinforced prefabricated cells have been hauled in by trucks and then put in place.
Well, right now they just set the last row of cells. These are prefab. These are five-bond prefab cells. They were built in Louisiana. They were trucked in. They figured it would take about a week to install them. Actually, they did all this in 2 days. The one over there, the one without a second floor, that's a dorm setting. That's going to be a dormitory because we're doing a hybrid. We're not just doing two-man cells, two-person cells, or two inmate cells, whatever. We're actually doing a combination of two inmate cells plus the dormitory situations because it'll save us on some money because there's some inmates that can be housed together at low risk. So they'll have a 32 dormitory cell there, a 16 dormitory cell there, and another 32 over here. So the combination of all the cells put together, it's a 224 bed unit. I know I keep hearing one town board member who keeps saying 300. But I've corrected him on numerous occasions. Fine, I just say give up because he won't get the picture. But it's the 224 bed unit that we're assembling here. The kitchen facilities and everything like that, is set, the laundry facilities and everything else, all the utilities actually set for a 448 person cell. So in the future, if there's ever a need for that, there's also a space available. We actually have an area location for another pod if that becomes necessary. But right now we're set for 224 beds, and we believe that this should take us into 25 years if we house citizens, if we house people from that we arrest in Nye County, based upon the population estimates for 25 years and down the line.
Right now, our detention center holds how many inmates?
32 here in Pahrump. The other facility up in Tonopah was originally designed for 44 inmates. Because of the amount of inmates we have arrested, and that facility was only done in 1998, 1996, 1998 when that was done. So they planned on it for 44. The jail population increased so rapidly that they had to just double bunk, and that facility is not made for double bunking. And the majority of the people that we house in Tonopah are actually people that are arrested in Pahrump Valley. So what that will do is once we have the space available, give us an opportunity to stop this transporting back and forth. The inmates that will be down here. Of course, there'll be sometimes we'll have to send a Pahrump inmate to Tonopah because of we try to separate those people involved in cases or special inmates that require separation from the population. So they'll still be Tonopah, and right now Tonopah is getting ready for a big boom up there. So they're going to need the jail spaces as well. So it'll give us an opportunity to house inmates in both locations and give us an ability for inmate safety plus for deputy safety and better services that we can provide for those people that we have to provide for.
Keep watching in the coming days for more on the Nye County Detention Center. More with News 46's News in Review. Stay tuned.
News 46 Week in Review is brought to you by Southwest Medical Associates. Look for news about their latest healthcare center opening soon in your neighborhood. Southwest Medical Associates. Now that's powerful medicine. News 46 is also brought to you by Red Apple Fireworks. You've never seen anything like it. Nevada's elite fireworks shopping experience. Red Apple Fireworks. You're watching KPVM News 46 Week in Review. Pahrump's #1 media source for local news with Deanna O'Donnell. News 46, local coverage you can count on.
Nye County Commissioner Gary Hollis spoke to us about water rights that the town of Pahrump was attempting to sell to Groponics.
Yes, the county gave the town of Pahrump a grant for $1,100,000 to buy water rights for the Pahrump Nye County Fairgrounds. And what I was saying was that I can only find 7 acre-feet at the fairgrounds, and I know those were donated by the Hafen family. Mm-hmm. So there is some water somewhere that belongs to that property on Highway 160, and it's not there right now.
So what do you think happened to it?
Well, I understand it's on Kellogg property where Groponics was trying to get their to lease that property.
That amount of money that the Nye County gave for the fairgrounds project, how many acre feet would that buy?
I don't know. From what I'm seeing, as far as it's going to buy about 90 acre feet.
There was talk that the fairgrounds, they were originally, and the fairgrounds were originally slated for the BLM land on South Highway 160. Yes. Now there's talk about it being over on Kellogg.
Well, I don't know about Kellogg. We gave the grant for Highway 160. We also gave them a $300,000 grant, a park and recreation grant for the Pahrump Nye County Fairgrounds on Highway 160. We have a grant from the federal government for approximately $280,000 for water for the Pahrump Nye County Fairgrounds, and I believe that that grant could be in jeopardy if we don't start spending the money on it.
And there's a congressional patent too as well.
Yes, the patent was given during my time on the town board, and the specific use for that was the fairgrounds.
And these things will expire, don't they have a time limit?
Yeah, grants have a timeline on them. They want to see you use the money. If not, then you forfeit the right to that and has to be paid back if they gave you the money, or you won't be able to draw against that grant.
Town board member Dr. Tom Waters spoke to us about the town's water rights.
Let's go back to Groponics. Groponics have not fulfilled their obligation on what the previous town board had authorized them to do. And this town board has also let them go as far as the legal process goes. So what we've done with this, or what Groponics has done, is nothing. And so I'm sure the town manager and our town attorney would be working at this point to terminate anything that we have with Groponics. And then the land should be coming back to the town.
And so this was the lease agreement that we had with Groponics about them doing their business there, hydroponics, which they were going to grow vegetables. I think it was on Kellogg and Squaw Valley, that corner there. So they've kind of not fulfilled their obligations. So we're getting out of the lease. What was the deal with the water rights on that, saying that we would sell them instead of leasing water rights?
Yes, it was, and that was a point of contention of selling water rights. It wasn't the complete water rights, it was just a portion of it, and it would not have done any damage to the actual property, and the fact that all of that will be coming back to the town now becomes a moot point.
And so in the future, will we be looking at selling water rights? I know that the law is concerning water rights would mean that you can only sell water rights, a town entity could only sell water rights if there was where it economically helped the town. But normally towns don't sell water rights, do they?
I don't want to get into the legal aspect of that. That would be the town attorney that would be answering that question. But I would say that this town board probably would not want to go into that direction again.
And will we ever be looking at leasing out water rights?
I would say leasing. If it came to that, we'd probably lease water rights. And you mentioned the part about Commissioner Hollis and the fact that he did mention the fact that they had given the town a lot of money for water rights, and the money was used to purchase water rights.
And are those being used? Because I know that they have a period where they expire, don't they?
Yes, if you don't use the water rights, you lose them. But the water rights are being used, and so we're not in jeopardy of losing those water rights.
And so we're still keeping those water rights right now. What are we using them for?
I would have to say they call it a point of diversion, and I don't have all the information on that, and I don't want to get into in an area where I'm not that familiar. But again, we are using the water rights in accordance with the law.
Is the Bob Roode Community Center at risk to be sold to a private entity? We spoke to Dr. Tom Waters about last week's town board meeting.
I have to say that those are rumors that I have heard around the community as well as anybody else. And even though I'm asked many times, what about the Bob Roode Center being sold? I have to say it is not something that's come up before the town board. It certainly has not come before this town board member.
And then I know that the roof damage happened during the time of the rain, and we had a little bit of mold. We have a now task force kind of making a decision on what's going to be going on. Is the roof going to get repaired? Are we going to tear down the whole Bob Roode Community Center, make a new community center, or is that an option?
All of those are options, and the committee that's working on that, they should come back with some recommendations to the town board. But tonight at the town board meeting, we're going to have a presentation of exactly what has happened with the evaluation, the damage, or anything else that's come up. And that information, in my estimation, should go before our committee, and then our committee has more information to make a good decision.
Thank you so much. You'll keep us posted. Of course, watching the town board meetings or attending them would even be vital for the community.
Absolutely. We want the community to be involved in what's going on, and we do have community people on this task force that's going to be letting us know what they recommend we do with the Bob Roode Center.
It all started a few years ago with an interview on KPVM with a man who was trying to make a 12-year-old's dream come true. The child's name was Brandon Rayner. He was fighting a battle with leukemia and was attempting to set a record for the most business cards collected. Brandon wanted to be in the Guinness Book of World Records. Butch Harper went from business to business, collecting cards for the boy who succumbed to his illness in 2008 before his dream could be realized. Now Butch Harper has initiated the Patches program, collecting patches from law enforcement, military, and all of our nation's heroes. He places patch collages in children's hospitals across the country. He also created Smiles Across Pahrump, which began last summer. This fun event gives children's bikes, clothing, shoes, and so much more. This year's event will be held next Saturday, July 23rd at Ian Deutsch Memorial Park. The Daily Point of Light Award honors individuals and volunteer groups that have made a commitment to connect Americans through service to help meet crucial needs in their communities. We spoke to Town Board member Dr. Tom Waters about nominating Butch Harper for this award.
It's the Governor's Point of Light, and it's a volunteer program that the Governor has done. It's been several years in the making, and it's a fantastic opportunity for rural Nevada. And we'd like to nominate Butch under that category. He's truly a great volunteer, and I think he can represent Pahrump and Southern Nevada and rural Nevada quite well.
Anybody who knows Butch Harper knows his passion towards just helping people in general. And this is something that he's just risen above to the top of the cream of the crop of people who do volunteer work and who really care.
That's correct. And it starts off with the children. He wanted to do something for the children, and that's how he got into the collage thing. Gathering patches, collecting patches, making a collage, putting them in children's hospitals. And so far, he's put them in about 14 children's hospitals across the country in 11 different states.
With his own money.
With his own money, his own time, everything. Again, a true volunteer.
Wonderful. So what is this Point of Light Award going to be? I know that it's going on the town board tonight, and we're going to nominate him. So is the governor presenting the award? What's going on?
It will be something that will happen if he is selected. Then they'll have a big awards program in October.
Wonderful. So this is going to be great. I'm sure Butch already knows.
Butch already knows about it. He did not want to be nominated for it. I told him he really didn't have a choice. It's something that we'd like to do for him. And I have to say, too, it's not something that I came up with. Carolyn Endersby, she found this. She looked at it. She read it to me, and I said, "That's Butch."
Yeah.
And we agreed, and so we're putting it together. We're working together on this, and she's an outstanding person. She and I have worked with Butch on the Smiles Across Pahrump and some of the other things that he's done.
Wonderful. And he's truly a hero and very humble, doesn't want to be recognized, but it is something that you feel like you have to do, especially after everything that he's done.
We feel we have to do it. And again, Smiles Across Pahrump, again, for the children.
Exactly.
Butch that's his passion, doing something for the children. And it's something that's never been done before.
Exactly.
And he created it himself. It's his ideas, and I think he should be recognized for this.
The new redistricting committee has now been formed after the census data reported more residents now live in Nye County.
Every 10 years, you have the Department of Commerce does a count of everybody in the United States, and the count is done on 10-year increments. So 2000, 2010, 2020. So we got new population now under the one man, one vote situation. We have to go back and redistrict all of the 5 commissioner districts and probably the school district will probably do the same thing. But we have to redo those districts so they're as close to 1/5 as possible, because there's 5 commissioners, so they have to be as close as possible to the same. So there's 43,000 people in the count, or approximately there. So each district is going to have approximately 8,000 people, and I'm just giving you figures off the top of my head. That's what the committee is going to be doing. So probably the next meeting we'll be appointing people to this committee to start drawing the districts, or at least give us 2 options that we can do.
Will we be looking at additional Nye County Commissioner?
No, you can't have the population dictates that, and I think it's we can't have 7 members like Clark County. So we'll be 5 commissioners. There could be 4 commissioners in Pahrump if that's how the committee comes up with. It could be a 4-1. 4 in Pahrump and 1 in the north. It could be, it could still be 3 here and 2 in the north. But that's what your committee is going to come up with.
So is this going to affect voting?
Well, yeah. I mean, in my district alone, I'm going to have approximately 2,000 more people in my district. So yeah, I mean, I'm at 60-something hundred now. So yeah, approximately 2,000 more people in my district.
So since the last census, we have more people. What's the difference?
I don't understand what you're saying.
Do you know what the count is for?
In 2000, there was less people than there is now. So one man, one vote says that those districts have to be close as 1/5 as possible. So each precinct has to be tallied, and we have to do this by ordinance. So we can't do it by resolution. It has to be done by ordinance, and it's done every 10 years.
And so who's going to take charge of doing this and doing the count and redistricting? And
well, the committee will come up with some options, and of course the clerk, Sam Merlino's office, will have some work to do in that area also.
I know that Sam Merlino talked about the redistricting before, and we're looking at congressional districting changes possibly.
That's different from us. I mean, the congressional districts are done by the state legislature, and evidently the Republicans had one plan and Democrats had another plan, and it went to the Supreme Court, I imagine, to see what to be done, and I think that has been settled as far as I understand.
So when will we be seeing this item come up for the redistricting committee, what their plan is?
I think it'll be the next meeting here in Pahrump. You'll probably see that on the agenda.
Still more local news to come with News 46's News in Review.
News 46 Week in Review is brought to you by Southwest Medical Associates. Look for news about their latest healthcare center opening soon in your neighborhood. Southwest Medical Associates. Now that's powerful medicine. News 46 is also brought to you by Red Apple Fireworks. You've never seen anything like it. Nevada's elite fireworks shopping experience. Red Apple Fireworks. You're watching KPVM News 46 Week in Review. Pahrumph's #1 media source for local news with Deanna O'Donnell. News 46, local coverage you can count on.
And welcome back. This weekend, Pahrump Valley Speedway has a very few important special guests you won't want to miss.
My name's Robbie Woods, and I grew up in Pahrump, Nevada, and we now campaign a Pro 2, which is a 900 horsepower unlimited two-wheel drive vehicle in the Lucas Oil Off-Road Series. And we have a lot of great supporters, Lucas Oil and Super Chips and General Tire. But basically what we're doing this weekend is just giving back to the community. Chad's got a really good thing going up there in a race scene. And, you know, it's not an easy job to do what he's doing, having the track up there. And there's so many great families and a lot of youth out here that doesn't have the opportunity to get out and interact and, you know, be entertained and do what it is that he's offering. So we're going to go up there this weekend and do a little demo. We're going to bring the truck out and do some jumps, do a couple laps, bring the semi out and have an autograph signing, and throw a little pit party and just have a good time.
You do off-road racing, right? Tell me about that. Where do you race it normally?
Well, it's a short course off-road truck. It's not like Baja. It's not point A to point B where we race 1,000 miles at a time. It's more like motocross for trucks. It's a closed course, about 1.5 miles long. Typically, they have about 20 trucks with 900 horsepower each doing battle for about 30 minutes. So we qualify for starting positions just like NASCAR does, and then we race for 30 minutes and may the best man win.
Tell me about yourself, a little bit of history growing up here in Pahrump.
My dad owns a towing business here in Pahrump called Two Star Towing, and we have a salvage yard as well. So, you know, I grew up around cars, and he raced at the same dirt track we're going to this weekend and graduated to the NASCAR ranks. So it was just always second nature to be around race cars and fabricating and junk in general. And I took a passion for racing off-road trucks after racing motocross for my whole younger life. And, you know, just sat out with a dream and a goal to become one of the best off-road racers. And unfortunately, it's really expensive. So what we did was we went around Pahrump and bought scrap steel trucks and tractors and anything iron we possibly could to recycle to generate the funds to build this off-road program. So we went out and did that for about a year and gathered enough money to build one. And in this little shop down at Two Star Towing, with the tooling we have to work with, we built a pretty competitive off-road truck, and we've been racing ever since. So,
what do we got behind us? Is this the truck?
Yeah, this is the truck. It's unbodied right now. It'll obviously have a tin skin over all of it to protect it from the elements, and then a body that resembles like a normal Chevy Silverado. But this is it, almost in race form, completely torn apart and prepped. Every time we race it, we have to tear it apart and then put it back together. So it'll be all ready to go out and burn some laps this Saturday.
Wonderful. So we can't wait to see you this Saturday at Pahrump Valley Speedway. I know the races begin at 7 p.m. We'll see you out there. You're going to be signing some autographs. Where can people look up more information about you?
You can keep up with all the updates, facebook.com/Robbie Woods Racing, or Twitter @Robbie Woods, and then RobbieWoods.com as well. So primarily pumping the deal through Facebook. I have a lot of friends in Pahrump, so they'll be following it that way, and then through all the local media with obviously the television, and it'll probably come out in the Pahrump Valley Times. So I think the gates open at 6 o'clock. Racing starts at 7. I'm not absolutely sure what time we'll be doing the demos and the autograph signing, but it'll be up to Chad. One thing I can promise is it'll be a good time and a really good show at a great value.
We'll see you at Pahrump Valley Speedway this Saturday night. Once again, the gates open at 6. The race begins at 7 p.m. and we'll see Robbie Woods there and his amazing truck and find out all about him, as well as seeing the Waterstone Bunch at Pahrump Valley Speedway. For more information, you can go to PahrumpValleySpeedway.com. I'm Deanna O'Donnell for News 46. The 7th annual Blue Butterfly to benefit Nathan Adelson Hospice was held last Saturday night at the Pahrump Nugget. We're here at the 7th annual Blue Butterfly Coffee House that benefits Nathan Addison Hospice. We're going to speak to them all about this event, how you can get involved, volunteer, and donate.
Sure. This is our annual coffee house event to help raise funds for the hospice out here in Pahrump, as well as Crystal and Amargosa, to make sure that we are continuing to provide our care at the highest quality that we can provide.
A little background on the Blue Butterfly. Why did we decide Blue Butterfly? I know it has a 60s theme, right?
Yeah, it does. It's supposed to be reminiscent of and nostalgic of the coffee houses of the 1960s, you know, from the poetry to the music to skits, things like that, all very retro.
It kind of makes it fun and gets people involved, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It's a lot of fun. People dress accordingly, so they bring back some of the 60s, some of the music, some of the dancing. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And this is a well-attended event and a big fundraiser, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, we have close to 200 people who attend, and it raises a significant amount of funds for the hospice, here locally.
I know you're in charge of home health care, Shelley.
Yes, I am. I'm the director for the Pahrump office, and I oversee the day-to-day operations for the team out here, for all the nurses, the CNAs, the social workers and chaplains and everything, and the volunteers. And we take care of all the patients, whether they're at home, in the hospital, in the nursing home, here in Pahrump, Amargosa, and Crystal. And we've been here for over 13 years now, so we're really stoked.
And probably everybody's favorite charity here in this town is Nathan Addison Hospice. It's so important and so important in our community. But tell me what it's like to work day on, day out with all the wonderful volunteers and workers that you have there.
It is truly an honor. I have just celebrated my 7th year with the organization, and it is so amazing to see these wonderful people just give of themselves daily, whether it's answering the phones and talking to the patients to actually delivering patient care. I'm just very, very proud to be a part of this organization.
Wonderful thing. How can people donate all year long to Nathan Addison Hospice?
They can visit our website, which is www.nah.org, and that'll give you all the information you need to donate directly on our website. You can call the Hospice Foundation, which is 702-938-3910, and that's actually the office I work out of in Las Vegas, but I support everything that happens out here as well. Or they can mail a check directly to the hospice office here, which the new address is 1401 South Highway 160, Suite B.
From Wisconsin to Pahrump, meet the new addition to Nye Communities Coalition, Tim Wiggers.
Well, I just moved to Pahrump in May and come from living in northern Wisconsin, working in northeastern Minnesota for the American Lung Association. I just have a history of working with youth organizations and in nonprofits, and my wife and I had been exploring the Southwest for a while, and I actually have family that live in town here. So been to Pahrump several times, loved a vacation in Vegas, and now I'm a resident. I'm a homeowner in Pahrump.
There you go. And you're part of Nye Communities Coalition. And tell me what you look forward to in the future for that organization.
Well, I'm really excited about the organization, and then especially with my role. I'm the communications coordinator, and I've worked a long time with media and marketing and special events. And here's a chance to kind of have a position where I get to really focus on what I really enjoy. So I'm very excited about being here.
Wonderful. And the organization itself, I know that you're introducing a brand new thing, Future Fest, to our community here. You got some other events and things that you're going to be working on in the future.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you know, our basic core is on tobacco, alcohol, and drug prevention programs, but we also have programs on youth workforce development and actually adult workforce development as well. So we're involved with just about every aspect of the community, and we're at the table almost all the time. And it's really excited to be part of a community that's actually kind of behind the scenes is really working together.
Still more local news to come with News 46's News and Review. Don't go anywhere.
News 46 Week in Review is brought to you by Southwest Medical Associates. Look for news about their latest healthcare center opening soon in your neighborhood. Southwest Medical Associates. Now that's powerful medicine. News 46 is also brought to you by Red Apple Fireworks. You've never seen anything like it. Nevada's elite fireworks shopping experience. Red Apple Fireworks. You're watching KPVM News 46 Weekend Review. Pahrumph's #1 media source for local news with Deanna O'Donnell. News 46, local coverage you can count on.
Susie Greenwood from Tire Works tells us about the company policy regarding repairs.
Well, the policy for our repair guys is very simple, and we carry it through to the front desk as well. And that is very simply that there are enough repairs and services, legitimate repairs and services needed on vehicles that we never recommend anything for a vehicle that is not a needed service. It's as simple as that. We don't believe in it and we don't support it.
And people can come here and trust in you that you're taking care of their vehicle, and you keep the records of what repairs were done. So if people come to this Tire Works or Tire Works in Vegas, they have records of when they last got serviced and what they may need and what's going on with their car.
Absolutely. The records are always in our computers. We can go back to the very beginning of Tire Works and find the records. We can find them actually on paper, but also in our computer system. So I can go back and find the very first piece of paper someone signed, let alone find it in the computer system. So when you come in, you don't have to remember, which can be very difficult. What kind of oil did you use, or when did you have that last service done? Don't worry about it. We've got that covered.
That's wonderful. And when are we going to be opening?
Oh, I wish I had an exact date. We're looking still at 2 to 4 weeks. It's all dependent on the construction of the building, but we'll be letting you know as soon as we know, and we're really excited. So we will be having a grand opening, a ribbon cutting ceremony, and we'll be making it a big hurrah, so you'll be sure and know.
And one other thing, we are hiring locally here, so people can come and apply for jobs, or they can go, I think you have a phone number. We also, the construction companies are local here as well.
Oh, yes, we used local contractors, subcontractors. We want to hire local people to work in our store, and you certainly can call, and the number is 702-365-TIRE, and just give us a call if you're interested. We would love to have you.
A new restaurant is ready to cut their red ribbon next week. We speak to the owners who are excited to open their second store right here in Pahrump.
Well, it's going to be opening here real soon. We're shooting for next week, and we'll have our $5 hot and ready pizzas all day, every day. We have cheese, pepperoni, hot and ready. No need to order. Just come on in and pick them up. We'll have them ready when you are.
You guys own a shop together already, or 2 shops? This is going to be your second shop, right?
Yes, it is. We own one in Bullhead City, Arizona.
And so tell me what that's like. Open the shop here. Why did you guys pick Pahrump?
It's the great hometown feeling that we're looking for. Again, we've been in Vegas for many, many years. There's enough Little Caesars there. So we started taking the river towns and looked at Pahrump, Bullhead City, the stores, the towns that have, 25, 30,000 and can support a store, and that's where we're going to be going.
There you go. I know, Diane, we have quite a few employees that we've hired.
Yes, we've hired about 30 employees, and we are also looking from the employees that we hired to, they'll have some growth potential. We're looking for a manager, assistant manager, and day openers, shift leaders, and we will be choosing those from the crew that I've hired to promote from within.
Wonderful. 30 people, that's pretty good. This store is going to be hopping, isn't it?
It's going to be a busy store. That's we put the investment in it and give back to the community, be actively involved, and it's a win-win for everybody.
We're looking at next week for an opening.
Yes, we are, tentatively next week, and the pizzas will be hot and ready.
Tell me some of the specialties that we can see on Little Caesars menu.
Along with the $5 hot and ready cheese and pepperoni, our hot and ready hours will be from 4 to 8. We'll introduce other pizzas in about a week or 2, but we'll have Supremes and deep dish, Italian cheese breads, crazy breads, our Caesar wings. Very, very good wings. And based on the community's request, whether we do salads and churros and some other menu items that we have, but we'll leave it up to the community to decide what they want.
So some ordering options. I know that you can call in your orders. Beginning next week, we'll let everybody know what day that we're going to be open. But can you go online to order?
Not right now. We don't have it set up yet, but that's something we are going to look into the future to do. There's no need to really order if you're going to do the cheese and pepperoni. I mean, we make them continually. They're continually fresh. If you wanted a specialty pizza, we can have it ready to you in 5 minutes.
And this is a great location that you guys have chosen.
Yeah, it works out really well for us. A lot of traffic in there. It's a great spot. Good corner there. Good parking, good flow. We got easy delivery there, and great neighbors.
Is your air conditioning unit ready for the summer heat? Richard Hargis from Pahrump Valley Air Conditioning may be able to help.
Filter changes is the most important thing this year. Filter changes and keeping the outside unit clean. All the weeds that we've had this year has really become a factor in them.
We have quite a bit of dust out here in our town. Tell me about the outside unit. What would a person do, a homeowner do about that with the outside unit especially?
Shut the power off to it and spray it off with a hose. It works great. You can spray it right off with a water hose. It really helps your power bill.
It's so important to change filters, especially even with the indoor unit. You get a lot of dust no matter what in our type of climate.
Yes, there's a lot of dust out here. And we love our pets, but they do become a problem. So yes, you have to change your filter every 30 days. I don't care how long they'll say they'll last. Every 30 days.
So about servicing your air conditioner, should you have a air conditioning service person come out and check it when you have these big climate changes like summer and winter?
Yes, once a year at the beginning of the season, about April, May, would be a good time to have it checked.
And what do you guys do?
We check it all. We check burnt wires are the biggest thing that we could find, but Freon, dirty coils, bad motors, we could find all that out.
This is preventative, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and it works too.
And this will save you lots of money in the long run.
It'll save them lots of money in the long run. Better to see me in April than August, okay?
So tell me some of the, you just said wires are some of the biggest things that you have people come in. What are some of the biggest problems that you find in air conditioning?
Wiring problems is the biggest problem. Wiring and insects, that cause a real problem.
And so the coil, I know we've talked about this before, the coils and keeping them clean. How can a homeowner keep the coils clean, or should we call an air conditioning specialist?
You should have it checked once a year and just keep your filters changed. That will take care of the inside coil. The outside coil, shut the power off to it and wash it out with a hose.
Wonderful. And so how much is a service fee for you guys to come out and check?
I run specials at the beginning of the year for $50 for a service call. My normal fee is $60.
And so people can get in touch with you how?
Call me anytime. 7 days a week, call me.
What's the number there?
727-7488.
And that's it for this edition of News 46's Week in Review. Some of the events include Pahrump Valley Speedway races Saturday night with off-road racer Robbie Woods and the Waterstone Bunch. For more information, you can go to PahrumpValleySpeedway.com or just come on by Saturday night. The races begin at 7 p.m. Robbie Woods will also be signing autographs. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week. I'm Deanna O'Donnell for News 46.